Greetings, legendary readers. Welcome back to Larry's Legendary Library, where I explore science fiction, fantasy, and other bits and bobs. Today is all about fantasy. Last week, it was all about science fiction. I covered my top 10 science fiction of all time. Today will be my top 10 fantasy of all time. And I will, before I do, give my 5 that just missed the cut, just like I did last week for science fiction. And depending on how the top 10 ages and new things I read, these next 5 could move up or down. And so The Way of Edan by Philip Chase, he's got a great YouTube channel, and on top of that, he's an awesome author as well. And the next one, same thing. Andrew Watson wrote Harbinger of Justice, great YouTube channel and equally great author. Next, Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, Three Hearts and Three Lions by Poul Anderson, part of the inspiration of Dungeons and Dragons. Noblestone and the Lost Dwarves by Christine Marshall. More YA, but it's got a special place in my heart because not only is it a good story, but it was a gift from my daughter Laura. And now we'll get into our top 10. And just to recap, same criteria as we did for science fiction. 1 book per author. I don't want to clutter up the top 10 with just 2 or 3 authors that I really like. And then where it's part of a series, I'll usually highlight the first book of the series, although the other books I've enjoyed equally well. And so let's jump in. Number 10, Mistborn, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This is my first Brandon Sanderson book. It's a heist story. It's got political tension and, of course, allomancy. It's a unique and brilliant system of magic paired with a story of a grassroots rebellion that's just really readable. Number 9, The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. Fantasy wouldn't be what it is today without Tolkien. Just one of the movers and shakers in early fantasy. It took me way too long. Actually, I've got this book to show, don't I? It took me way too long for me to read this book, and it was fantastic. And embarrassingly, I still have to read the other 2 books in the trilogy, plus The Hobbit. Number 8 is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, part of the Shadow of the Leviathan series. The second book, A Drop of Corruption, is equally awesome. And the third book, A Trade of Blood, comes out June 9th, 2026. And yes, I've already pre-ordered it. Part murder mystery, part eerie fantasy world. The Tainted Cup instantly became a favorite for me. Bennett builds an incredibly fascinating world. It's got atmosphere, it's original and unforgettable. Number 7, Whispers of the Storm by Z.B. Steele. A powerful indie fantasy that stuck with me, full of heart and imagination and emotional weight, proving once again that fantasy doesn't just live in the big names, but that there's great fantasy being written by lesser-known authors as well. And if you like Joe Abercrombie, you'll like Whispers of Storm by Z.B. Steele. And speaking of Joe Abercrombie, number 6, The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. Gritty, violent, darkly funny. Abercrombie's First Law trilogy kind of shook up fantasy for me. I read through all 10 books in the extended series in just a few months. It was that compelling. Unforgettable characters, brutal battles, great action, more subtle magic, and Glokta, probably my favorite villain, if he is a villain. Number 5, Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. I've loaned out my copy, so this is Tyranny of Faith, equally awesome. Justice of Kings floored me. A mix of legal thriller, epic fantasy, a gothic atmosphere, full of moral dilemmas and political intrigue, and a main character who's very fascinating and yet flawed. Number 4, The Magic of Recluce by L.E. Modesitt Jr. A classic fantasy with its own thoughtful spin. I love the way that Modesitt balances order and chaos within his magic system. I've only read the first book, but I've been quietly adding to my collection the other books in the series, and I'll be certainly reading those as well. Number 3, The Song of the First Blade by T.C. Edge. This book really impressed me. It combines action, myth, and a sense of destiny. The characters feel real, yet they're not predictable. There's surprising twists. And I was only partway through the first book when I went ahead and bought the entire series, and it wasn't cheap. It was that good. Number 2, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Certainly a classic, stepping through the wardrobe into a magical world. You can enjoy the Christian allegories, or you can simply read it for the awesome story that it is. Probably the first fantasy that I ever read decades ago. I still wish I had that box set that I owned all that time ago. And number 1, The Will of the Many by James Islington. Ambitious, layered, and utterly gripping. Islington blends politics, power struggles, world-shaking secrets. It's got something that just feels so massive and yet personal. Part coming-of-age story, part action-packed adventure, part mystery, but it also contains deeper meaning, which I love about some of my favorite books, is you can read the story that's on the surface, but then also enjoy deeper meaning that can be found throughout the book. And the next book in the trilogy, The Strength of the Few, comes out next month, November 11th. And yes, I've already pre-ordered it and looking forward to reading that as well. Well, that is my top 10 fantasy books of all time, at least for now. I'll be curious to see how this list changes in the months and years ahead. What would make your top 10? Would any of these find a place amongst yours? What others on your top 10 aren't in mine, but I should try to add into my TBR in the weeks ahead? Be sure to drop your picks in the comments. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Join me for more fantasy and science fiction. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay legendary.